And we're joined in studio now by Danie Kinkade. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about your research, and then I'm going to want to talk about how that applies to some of the other things that you're working on.
Sure. I do research in the application of cyber infrastructure technologies and leading practices and applying those to the act of managing oceanographic data and making that data findable and accessible, reusable, and publishing them out for sharing, for reuse.
Why is that important for your field, but also for science in general?
That sharing allows other people to use the same content. So an observation, in situ observation, takes a lot of effort and time and money to collect. You can't go back and re-sample it. And so those data are very valuable, and they can be used for purposes beyond their original hypothesis-driven research intent. And so by sharing them, you not only contribute to the transparency of the scientific process, but you make those data available for new research and also for peer review when it comes time for those investigators to publish their results.
So this is this idea of open science and fair data. Can you explain what those topics are and why they're so important?
Ooh, there's a lot to unpack there. So the concept of open science is actually evolving, and it can mean a lot of different things to different people. But in its most distilled form, it's really making the scientific process as transparent, collaborative, and shareable as possible. Fair, findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable is a set of principles that was published back in just 2016. But the concept is to allow your data to be machine actionable, meaning picked up and used in a more modern way than traditional ways of moving data around. The FAIR principles were created to kind of facilitate not only human accessibility to data, but machine accessibility, so enabling that big data kind of revolution to happen.
So then it's easier to share, you can spread it across, there's no language barrier, things like that.
That's right. Well, within domains, there may be some domain-specific, disciplinary-specific terms and practices and technologies, but there's a layer of abstraction at some point where a machine can find your data on the internet, understand, be able to communicate what's inside those data.
What are some of the roadblocks to accomplishing this?
The largest roadblock to open science right now is culture. It's not necessarily technical. And the open science has this great potential to really accelerate the scientific process, but it's not traditionally the way the scientific process was conducted. In a perfect world, I think that it would be very easy for researchers to organize their data in a way that facilitates reuse. So their personal data management would be easy for them. The tools would be there, the relationships would be there, and the a priori knowledge of how to do all this. I think it's a great goal to aspire to.
You think we can get there?
I do. I really do. I think most of this open data challenge is, in my opinion, cultural. I think it's just not. It's a paradigm shift from how we learn to do research, and I don't think it's insurmountable.
Well, Danie Kinkade, thank you so much for coming in and talking to us.
Yeah, thanks again for the opportunity. It was fun.